So we worked a lot with sagas, but I would assume that it's still a bit confusing. It'll soon get clearer. Let's go to the off.js file in the actions folder. There we have our logout actions creator. And here I want to make a very important change. I'm going to take all the local storage code and I'm going to comment it out here. Instead here, I really just want to dispatch an action. I want to create an action. Nothing else. I don't want to have any side effects in there anymore because I want to handle these with Redux Saga now. So what I will do is I will dispatch something here and I will create a new action type for this. So besides of logout, I'll export a new constant in the action types folder, which I'll name of initiate logout, because it's kind of the step before we really log out. There's a typo. This will, again, as always, receive the same identifier as a string as we named the constant. And now I will go back to the off.js actions file, and here I will dispatch action types of initiate logout and not of logout anymore. So whenever I dispatch logout, I will now simply initiate the logout instead. Now the goal is to listen to this newly created action creator and execute our logout saga generator whenever we detect this initiate logout call. For that, I'll create a new file in the sagas folder. I'll name it index.js. You can also name it root saga or whatever you want. In index.js, I will simply import something from the off saga file. And that something, of course, is the only saga I got so far, the logout saga. But I also will import something from this Redux Saga package. So from Redux Saga, I will import take every. That's another useful function we can use. And take every will allow us to listen to certain actions and do something when they occur. Now, how do we use it? We first of all create another generator. So a function with this star after the function keyword, and I'll name it watch off. Now in here, I will yield something as we have to do in generators, basically saying execute this and wait for it to finish. And then take every, the function I import. And to take every, I'll now pass the action I want to listen to. So I'll also import that. I'll import everything as action types from, and now let's go into the actions folder to the action types file. And here I will listen to every action of type initiate logout. Now take every takes a second argument. This second argument is the generator, the saga we then want to execute when this action occurs. And that would be the logout saga. Now don't execute the function, so don't use parentheses here, just pass a reference to it. What this will do is that whenever we execute this generator, we will basically set up a listener to, in this case, of initiate logout, and then execute logout saga whenever that appears. So now we can go to the index.js file here, and we no longer want to run the logout saga at the beginning, but instead run the generator where we set up this watcher. So in index.js, I will no longer import logout saga from sagas off. Instead, from sagas/index, which I can omit due to our setup here, I want to import our newly created watch off function, and therefore, of course, I'll have to add the export keyword to it. Now with that, I can import watch off. And I want to run watch off, setting up the watcher right at the start of our application. Now let's go back to our application and see if that works now. If I reload it, everything looks as it did before. We see one important change though. Of initiate logout is dispatched. And that makes sense because we're now dispatching this in our logout action creator, which we still call in our we try to sign you in code. So now we're already using the new action creator. And since we also see that of logout was dispatched thereafter, we see that our Saga is working because we're no longer dispatching this from anywhere in our auth action creator. This action type, auth logout, isn't used in here anymore. It's auth initiate logout instead. So our Saga is already working. Now let's confirm this by really signing in here. And then hitting the logout button. And we did sign out. And let's now check the application tab to see if in the local storage we still have a token. And we don't. It's empty. So indeed we did clear it. We did call remove item. So Redux Saga did work here. Now let's dive deeper to make this more clear and to replace all our side effects and the action creators with Saga generators instead.